With our chair and co-chair out for the meeting, we do need to approve or elect a chair, temporary chair for this meeting. And do I have any motions for anyone to? Do I hear a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Vote is unanimous. Okay.
It's anonymous.
In Hank's voice, has everybody had the opportunity to read the minutes from last meeting, June 6th? And do I have a motion to approve? Does Hank have a motion to approve the minutes? So moved. Second? Mike, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on, public comment. There are two individuals, Andy and Chuck, to talk to the board. Andy, if you want to come up.
I purchased a house a couple of years ago at 1810 Woodland. It was, I guess, condemned by the city. There was homeless people living in it, and I've restored it. But I hired a plumber. He did a good job, Kurt Cosmentine. But when it came to getting the final inspection, there was one inspection missing on the rough plumbing. There was supposedly, the way I understood it, there was an air bubble or a bubbling in one joint, and somehow it didn't get signed off. And so I'm just here to mention, that happened. And when it came to the final inspection, the plumbing inspector said pressurize it at 4 pounds, and they did that, and it passed the inspection. But I was just told to come in and just comment on what happened. I don't know if there's any questions from you, but I don't really know the whole process of permitting or inspections, but the one inspection didn't get signed off by BIU. So I guess BIU started it and the city of Erie finished the plumbing inspection, to my understanding.
Andy, there's not really anything we have to do on this, is there? No. Okay.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Did he not finish the job for you?
Oh, he did the job, and everything turned out great. But when it came to inspection, it was hard for the city inspector to inspect it, since somehow the paperwork wasn't done right for the BIU to finish the rough inspection, because there was an air bubble the first time he inspected it. Whether he came back or what happened, I don't know. But but I was told.
But you're happy.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Was that in the transition of the city?
Right, from the city to the whatever. Right. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're glad you're happy.
Yeah.
Well, elated.
Was it? So you're probably looking for a final inspection then?
I think it passed. They came, they pressurized it. I think the plumbing inspector said it's going to pass. So,
Okay.
I was just said to please come down and mention what happened. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Our second speaker is Councilman Nelson to speak on behalf of Chris Lozano.
Hi there, Board. I'm just here to offer my support for Chris Lozano for this. One thing in particular about him is that he's one of the Q Merit partners for Tesla installations. So as far as getting the approved Tesla installations for EVs, we don't have someone that's currently a master license in Erie that's on the Q Merit side as well. So he's already licensed down in Pittsburgh, and he has his ICC master license. And as we move towards a green EV type economy, we need to have access to this in the city of Erie. So I'm just here to speak on behalf of Chris as far as anything personal to it, he reached out to me. But I've known him for 18 years. I used to coach wrestling against him back in the day, and we pulled a nice prank on his school. So I've known him pretty much ever since then. He comes up a few times a year and visits. So, but you have all of his information ahead of you, and I just want to recommend him for consideration. Thanks.
Andy, this is not really coming in before us to be granting a license. This is, okay,
Yes.
do we have all the material that's necessary?
We have, his application was submitted to the board.
That's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda for today.
It's on the agenda for today.
It's on the- it's right here.
A new business?
Yes, under new business.
Okay.
Review electrical applications.
Okay. So now the question is, does he meet all the requirements and the tests for a master license in the city of Erie?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Grego asks, are there any further public comment? Anyone online or anything? None heard. Secretary's report. Do you want to go through it or you want me to? I can go through. Okay. We had the opportunity to complete Ron Euro's documentation that he provided, that box. And when we got through it, it was, what percentage was residential? Probably was residential. The majority of it was backflow preventers being installed. So we didn't really count those. We pushed them to the side. But he was lacking in the verifier signature, where the verifier signed off when there was no documentation showing he had completed that work and was proficient at it. And so we met with Mr. Euro's attorneys. 2 attorneys stopped in, and we provided the documentation showing where he's lacking, and they were going back to Mr. Euro's to review everything, and that's as far as we've heard right now. We're waiting for Mr. Euro's decision on what they're going to do. But it was a pretty good meeting with the lawyers. They do completely understand where he's lacking. So once he provides the correct documentation or has another verifier that signs off that it was completed. And and the board did receive a, okay.
Yes.
So as soon as we hear from Mr. Rose, then we'll let you know. Nothing else for secretary? All right.
Do we have a motion to accept the secretary's report?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Secretary's report accepted. Correspondence. Who's going to handle that? Christie or?
You want me to go through?
I can go through it, I really don't care. Correspondence, Christy Williams, licensing coordinator, is requesting that Matt Jackson obtain his master license as soon as he passes his exam. Andy Zimmerman gave the okay for him to take the exam ASAP due to his father, Jeff Jackson, passing. Our office will allow Matt to continue pulling permits for 6 months under Jeff's license number. Matt will also have to submit his application with no verifier due to only working for his father. Please let me know if the board will require pay stubs to confirm work history.
Is there any questions about that procedure that he has 6 months to get his license so that the business doesn't close. And he's
Okay.
able to pull permits.
I assume he was a journeyman, and basically he had his time and all that, it's just that his dad never actually did pay for it.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
We're currently doing a job with him and his dad. It's been going on for like 3 months, and, yeah, I had a long talk the other day about it. And, I think what you're doing is correct.
And Andy, that's always been kind of the rule.
That's always been, that was ordinance,
That's
yes.
what it's always been, 6 months.
Yes, that we, in the event,
Since there's not a verifier to verify.
yes,
W-2s would clarify his time again on payroll.
yeah.
And I think he's gonna have his time in September or something, isn't he?
Yes, but we didn't want him to wait until then because it'll be close to the 6 months. And in case he doesn't pass it the first time, we want to have him at least have enough time to take the exam again before his 6 months is expired.
So we're asking that the board approve the 1 month, well, month and a half ahead of schedule to allow him to take the test, the masters.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second?
All in favor? All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I just have one question. Is the board going to request pay stubs for his work history or anything to show that he has?
Well, you guys have his journey.
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah, a lot of people know.
How many years has he been a journeyman on file?
I don't have the exact amount because he hasn't
I know it's
submitted
a
his
lot.
application yet, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely passed the qualifications for that.
yeah. Second page, old business. The following folks that applied for licenses that were approved, Christie did mail out their letter, and so they received their letter that they were approved. New business. We received 2 applications for master license. Under the electrical would be Derek Gerlach. Christie?
Derek currently holds a journeyman license. He has held his journeyman since 2012. He is, at this time, he is working for Church and Murdoch, but he had his verifier from Jeff Will because he worked for Connecto for a number of years. So that's why there's a discrepancy on who signed off on the application and who was his verifier. Was there any questions regarding his application?
I'm surprised he called the family business. He got out. He graduated from high school and said, I'm not working right yet.
Yeah, his verifiers were okay. He had the letters. He had enough years as a journeyman. He has his transcripts.
Yeah.
And his work history was there.
I don't know if that means. There's nothing outstanding that would say.
Yeah. I think all his stuff was in order.
Verifier verified it.
Yeah, even though he doesn't work with Jeff anymore, that's nice of Jeff. So.
Do I have a motion?
So we're going to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Sorry, my back was to you.
Mr. Reeves?
Seconded by Sessler
Yes.
and Reeves.
Chris Lozano.
Chris currently is from out of town. He is a master plumber from,
Electrician.
I'm sorry, electrician from,
It's-
any of that shit?
That's not me.
Can you turn your mic off?
Hmm?
I'm sorry, he's a master electrician. He currently holds a journeyman card with local 712. He does not have a license with the city of Erie. But he does have a master master license with Ohio and Pittsburgh. So I spoke to him regarding, the fact that you don't reciprocate, and I was going to still submit his application as a master, because that's what he requested. But the journeyman card may be the way into obtaining a license with the city of Erie. But I let him know that it was going to be ultimately up to the board.
Did he supply a verifier page?
His verifier page is done by Eric Williams, who is actually as well a union journeyman,
Is that,
who does not hold a license with the city of
okay,
Erie.
and is that a Pittsburgh local union then?
Yes.
Not in Erie,
Yes.
okay, so he's never had a journeyman license
But
with the
it's
city.
the IBEW.
Yeah,
and
okay.
it's local 712, yes, correct.
My only question is that ICC test the same as he would take if he was applying here in Erie
Yes, he,
as a journeyman? I don't know the test because I'm an electrician. I don't know if that test is the same test that we would take here locally, or if that's a different ICC test that would be taken for a journeyman here in the city of Erie.
no, it's the same one that we did,
Okay.
The G16.
correct.
That was my only question on this, because I don't know the tests, whether or not it's the same. He took it,
Well,
it's the same test he'd take for a journeyman here in Erie.
Fortunately, the reciprocity
we-
agreements,
yeah, we don't reciprocate, plus how many have we turned down?
we don't have an agreement currently with Ohio or Pittsburgh.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, we've turned down a number of them in the same situation.
They can get Pittsburgh, Allegheny, or Ohio to reciprocate,
But didn't he take the test that we require?
but he doesn't have
He doesn't
verifiers.
he doesn't have time in the city though. He's never had a city journeyman card. Christie's right, if he got a city journeyman card,
Or a letter from Allegheny County stating they would reciprocate.
reciprocate with us, but I don't know that's gonna happen. But I think he doesn't have,
The issue is he's with the IBEW, the 712. And so I don't know how to word it. We do reciprocate with the IBEW. That brotherhood can come up here and our brotherhood can go down there.
Okay.
So there is a reciprocation.
But he would come back as a journeyman. He would work here as a journeyman. If he was working on a project here, he would have a journeyman license.
That's why I asked about the test.
That's why, yes,
The
he's,
test is the same. I don't know how the electrical union works, but to me, it's the same test, right?
yes. I think where the issue comes in is the verifier,
he's got a very.
because it was verified by a journeyman,
Right.
a fellow journeyman. And so he's not a master in Pittsburgh,
He is a master in Pittsburgh and Ohio,
but he carries a journeyman.
but he carries his journeyman with,
So it's kind of a unique situation that we have where he's a journeyman with a master in Pittsburgh, but if he came here, he would be a journeyman. I'm a little bit reluctant in my recommendation to the board because of the verifier page is signed off by a fellow journeyman, that really should be signed off by
By a master.
by a master.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The ordinance requires a master sign off.
That's a given. It has to be a master.
And
My question is if he's a master in, like you said, Allegheny, Ohio, and he's coming here to Erie County to work, he would have had to work under a master at one point.
correct.
So-
Could be several masters, different companies that he worked for through the
Because coming off the
IBEW.
bench, you're working for a different electrical contract.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, I assume he has his quote time, but it's just, how's he gonna get verification? Because
So would these other masters be able to sign off on it?
yeah, 3 different masters.
There has to be some master up here that's gonna sign off on it.
Somebody,
Somebody,
he
right?
worked for somebody. The
Yes.
question is, how's he gonna backtrack? You know?
Yeah,
Because if he worked for a master, that's fine. I mean, I accept him as a journeyman. To me, the test is the test, you know? I mean, we're looking,
And he probably went through the schooling and all that, guaranteed, the credentials for the schooling.
who is our electrical, from the trades? What's his name? Jim. All right,
yeah, we need,
so
Jim.
let me make a recommendation to the board, is that, because Jim's probably got contact with everybody down there, he does a little bit of research to learn. He probably knows this guy out anyways. So to talk to any of the masters down there about who this guy worked for in different companies, and then he can come back, Jim can come back to the board and make a recommendation.
Well, would you also ask me whether or not those masters would sign off?
Yes, and we can talk to Jim about doing that.
Let's do that, when you talk to us, let's try and do it all in one step.
Yes,
So the next time we meet, if it's necessary, well, not if it's necessary, when it is necessary, to go ahead and sign off and to award the license, we can do that from here.
yeah,
Rather than we do it 1 month and then we go to take the next step the next month. Let's try and find out who he is and who the masters will end up signing off.
so I'm going to ask the board to table this till next month until what was discussed.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to table it.
could I add a friendly amendment to that? Could
Yeah.
we ask him to, if he could, get us a master verification?
Yeah, well, that, yes,
But I mean, you're going through Jim, who's the secretary of the Brotherhood. I'm saying that put the premise on him that he should go and contact,
yes,
you know.
Yeah, that's what we're
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah,
yeah,
but I
Okay.
mean, have him do that, you know, forward that on to him now before our next meeting.
okay,
Just to save some time so we can get this processed for him, you know.
okay.
Otherwise,
Okay.
we're gonna go back and tell him in, you know,
Yes.
the September meeting, oh, we want you to do this now, you know. If you could get us verifications now, and then once we talk to Jim and then we can get
Okay,
that information and finalize it.
you got all that?
Yes, who seconded? You can second.
Okay, well, because you made the amendment, the first, motion,
We're making an amendment, we already said we want
Well,
to do it.
yeah,
His motion is to table it, and I'm just
Yeah.
adding that we tell Chris that we would like a master verification, that it would be ready for us at our September meeting.
so would you make the motion that was added?
Yeah.
All right, second?
Well, I can't second it because I'm the one.
Yes, you can.
I can second my own amendment?
Yes.
Oh, all right, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, Christie?
I just have one question. Due to him holding his journeyman, could he be approved to receive a journeyman license? Because he currently has
Well,
a job on hold in Erie already.
he does have a journeyman's license,
So we can,
but he would have to work for a master up here as a journeyman.
correct, so we can approve him to
Yes,
receive his journeyman with the city of Erie and
yes. If he's coming up,
possibly pull a
yes,
master from the hall so he can complete this job.
correct.
Okay.
Then you will have a master on the job. Right?
Yes. Okay.
All right, no plumbing applications received, and one application for mechanical by Kevin Fitzpatrick.
Kevin Fitzpatrick, holds his journeyman plumber's license currently. He was approved back in 2021 to take his mechanical exam, but unfortunately he took the incorrect exam. So when I came on and he came back with his application, I had to inform him that he took the wrong exam. So he was already approved prior to the new ordinance. I just told him he had to go through the steps of submitting a new application and having it approved by the board.
So is he taking the test?
He has not taken the test and he's waiting for the board's approval.
The board approval for what?
Taking the new test.
To
Just
take
because of the new ordinance being in effect,
Yeah, to take the new test.
to take the new test.
This is just a formality.
Yes.
It's just like when we, for a master's license to take the test, where he's asking to.
He took the wrong test.
He took the wrong test.
Yeah, I understand. Wrong test, but why do we need to approve anything? Just take the right test.
Because the board has to approve anyone taking the test.
And he knew, yeah.
For the master's.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Mr. Fitzpatrick to take the test.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Who said, no, I didn't. Never mind.
You
I was
seconded.
asking for a
You
second.
seconded.
I'm never doing this again.
Yes, you
I'll
are.
do it next time.
I was confused on that too, because when I saw the old one
Yeah.
from Gail, then I was kind of like, okay, if this has already been
Yeah,
going
he,
on for a while. And then I thought, maybe this was a COVID mix-up.
no, he took the wrong test.
So now he can go ahead and take the test.
Yes,
All right.
the correct test.
Yeah, everything looked good.
It's funny how his uncle was his notary. Edmund Sharp is his uncle. His sister's his mother.
That's for me. That's it.
Motion to adjourn?
We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn is submitted and seconded. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.